Developing learning objectives builds the foundation for your lesson plan. The skill of developing learning objectives is critical because all of your content and activities must be designed to help achieve those objectives. Let's take a look at how to write learning objectives that will specify what participants will be able to do as a result of your training. There are two basic elements of creating learning objectives. First, identifying after-training behaviors, and second, developing appropriately stated objectives. Learning objectives focus on what you want your participants to be able to do as a result of training. Generally, learning objectives are written in terms of learning outcomes. What do you want your trainees to do as a result of the training? To identify outcomes, start by making a list of what you want learners to do as a result of training. These are your participants' after-training behaviors. Once you've established that list of after-training behaviors, follow a three-step process for creating appropriately stated learning objectives. Let's take a look. Step 1. Create a STEM. Think about the STEM as preparing the learner to know what to expect and when. Here's some examples. After completing the lesson, our participant will be able to, or after this session, the participant will have. Next, step number 2, add an action verb. Add an action verb to identify the learning action to take place. When selecting an action verb, make sure you're describing an observable behavior. And finally, step 3, identify the actual product, process, or outcome. Once you have a STEM and a verb, determine the actual product, process, or outcome. It's important that your learning objectives come as close as possible to the actual behavior the participant will be expected to perform. Next, your learning activities are really an outline of the training plan, including content, methods, and timing. Your training plan should include an activity column like this, designed to be a bulleted outline of training content. The level of detail you include in the activity column is a matter of choice. Remember, learning is the most effective when the training is broken into small parts. An outline should include what the participants must do, their actions, as well as the information they must know to be able to take that action, the knowledge requirement. There's more to a lesson plan than just outlining training content. Content should be developed using a series of steps designed to help participants learn and practice new skills. The ROPES model provides a systematic approach to developing your lesson plan content and includes the following 5 steps. First, review, to understand the participant's general knowledge or experience in the topic area. This is 5 or 10% of the time you'll spend in training. Next, overview, to establish a connection between the participants and the training content that engages and motivates learning, 10 to 15% of your time. Then presentation, to present content to participants in ways that will help them retain information. This is the largest 20 or 35% of your time. As well as an exercise to enable participants to practice using content and build their knowledge, skills, or abilities, 35 to 50% of your time. And finally, the summary, to summarize and clarify what was learned, 5% of your time. Your lesson plan template should provide space to organize your training session by time. The column is designed to include specific times to keep track with the clock. The column could also include minute allotments of time to help you organize pace and process. The time of day and time allotments are associated with the corresponding training activity on a particular row in a session content table. Next, learning materials are listed in terms of the resources needed to successfully facilitate your training session. In the materials column, outline in a bulleted list all of the resources you'll need to facilitate your training content. Items will include things like handouts, activity sheets, readings, electronic devices, and so on. Really, the opportunities are endless. You'll use this list to ensure you assemble all the necessary ingredients to pull together a stunning training session. And that's what you need to create a well-crafted training lesson plan that provides the facilitator with everything they need to deliver effective training experiences designed to